everybody to the 68th Annual TransCanada Yellowhead Highway Association Annual Conference and AGM.
Just to speak to the delegates who've come here from across Canada, Western Canada, thank you so much for coming. It is such an honor to have you in our community. And as many of you have noted, walking down Fifth Avenue, you can see that we're a community that's been deeply affected, but you can also see why we're still here. I think that's evident yesterday and today, and what the opportunities are. So it's lovely to share our story with you. And if you've got any questions, ask any of us, and we'd love to tell you the stories behind.
I mean, it's great. It's anytime we get the chance to host people, and especially around the Yellowhead Highway Association. I mean, what an important group for us. Really, they've been lobbying for years on behalf of us, giving communities like Valmont a voice in that national stage around transportation issues, national and provincial. So yeah, it's great. I mean, to have that group tuned into what our needs are as a community, which I think they naturally are, but to have them here and actually experience what the community is going through is just fantastic. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the TCYHA organization, and why do you think it's important for this region?
Well, you know, I'm a believer that together we can do things better than individually. And so this is a pretty amazing organization. I think historically it actually started before tourism associations in provinces. So, you know, there was a lot of foresight a number of years ago, many years ago. I think this is the 68th annual general meeting. So it's pretty impressive as an organization. I think we live in a spectacular part of Canada. It's vast and beautiful. So I think the cooperation that this organization that shows, the collaboration, is really effective. And certainly as a provincial politician, they're very active lobbyists working on highway improvement issues and tourism policy. So I think they're much stronger together. I think that tourists also love the idea of packages of touring and how you look at an entire region or part of a province or country. So I very much congratulate them. They're a very active organization, and certainly since I was elected as the MLA for this part of the province, have had a number of opportunities to work with them.
Sandy, it's been a long run leading up to this. I guess you're really glad that it's here.
Absolutely. I'm ready to welcome the delegates. They've been having a good time so far from what I've been hearing, and going to be ready to wrap this up.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do a little bit of background for people who don't really understand what the TransCanada Yellowhead Highway Association is. Can you kind of give us a little background? What is the organization and what do they do?
It's a four-province nonprofit organization, association that was established in 1947, initially for a northern TransCanada route across from Winnipeg and Manitoba all the way to Massa and Haida Gwaii. And it's initially was for the development, and now its mandate is for the continuation of improvements to infrastructure and safety along the corridor.
Having an AGM of this caliber, which is Western Canadian wide, is quite something for a town the size of Valmont. I'm not sure if we're the smallest community that's hosted one before, but what would you say would be the short and the long-term benefits to a community like Valmont of hosting an AGM like this?
Well, I think, first of all, the short term is that it brings people, it fills the rooms that we have here in Valmont, obviously adding to the economy. There's a significant number of delegates from across Western Canada. So I think there's always a short-term economic benefit, which we appreciate. I love the fact that it's here in Valmont. I think the longer-term benefit is about awareness. It's about how do you market the TransCanada Yellowhead route, and there's nothing better than being in a place like Valmont or any of the communities along the route. It just helps raise awareness. And I think anytime we can bring a meeting like this to our part of the province, it's a fantastic thing, not just for Valmont, but for the province of British Columbia. It's a very substantive meeting. I'm very proud to be here tonight, and I think that there is always a longer-term benefit. And for me, that's how do we tell our story? How do we get it out there? And there's nothing better than having industry leaders in the tourism sector here in Valmont looking at the beauty, the opportunities that exist here, and going home and talking about them. So, and including them in their advertising and in their campaigns. So certainly it's something I'll be talking about Destination BC with, to talk about how we continue to proactively advertise and market this beautiful part of British Columbia and Canada.
Why is it important for the Village of Valmont to be a member of the association?
We're the northernmost community on the Highway 5 section of the Yellowhead that's going down south to Hope. And I couldn't say for sure what the village decided initially when they did join, but I don't know for sure how long we've been members. I could find that out. But we have always felt quite strongly that it just helps give our little community strength in numbers with working with the association to work towards improvements along our corridor. We know that the highways are our main traveling points for our citizens and also bring economic growth and tourism to the community as well by all the traffic that goes through. So we feel it is important to be a part of that and help work collaboratively to see improvements along our corridor and in our area.
We took them on a tour to the Valmont Museum and the Valmont Library, and I think people were delighted at those places. And afterwards, it gave us a chance to talk about the area on our way there, as well as after that, we had a chance to slip into the Three Ranges Brewery, and people could sample the local wares and get a sense of how the beer is made. And it's awesome to be able to take people to such great local institutions, the three of them. Then we traveled out to Tijon, stopped at the TELUS station, the TELUS tower there, and had a conversation with TELUS. It was great that they're here, great that they're a sponsor, and they're being so let's just say it's great to have their attention and get them in the community. It's a fantastic opportunity for us. And then bringing folks out to the Tijon Lodge. What a beautiful place down by the Fraser. I spoke a little bit about First Nations, and there's some confusion about First Nations and what their involvement in the area was sort of pre-contact. Some people say, First Nations people didn't like it here, or they're afraid of the valley, or didn't come here. And I mean, you can tell when you go to the Tijon Lodge, for millennia, that has been an awesome place to be and continues to be. And it's not by virtue of the buildings, which are sweet and great and everything, but it's a really special place where the mountain, the river flows through the mountains, and the views are amazing. And that hasn't changed in 10,000 years.
Well, thank you. This is a great opportunity, and one of the things that I'm going to talk about is the importance of working together and how we need to change our tourism industry around that. And I want to congratulate all of you, because you already get that. Because the reality is you're already seeing the idea that we're all in this ship together on the Yellowhead, and we have to work together in order to make a difference.
So this morning we had presentations from Alberta Alberti on the Valmont Glacier destinations, and also from Glenn Manziuk on the Thompson Okanagan Tourism Association. Can you say anything about what you thought of their presentation?
I love Glenn's way of being. He understands, I think, deeply from having been wrong in the past, that tourism is not a competition between a bunch of hotels on a highway strip. Tourism is a collaboration of a community. It's about having deep experiences. Tourists aren't hollowed out shells who litter and have no connection to anything, who just drive through and gawk a few minutes. Tourists are people like us that want to have experiences. When we figure that out and figure out what they're after, by actually thinking internally, what are we after, and internalizing what we care about and feel and sharing that with people, it's a pretty transformative experience.
I will do my best. This is certainly a work in progress. I want to tell you, after all the disappointments you had in the past, I want to be sure that I don't promise or do anything that will disappoint you this time. So what I'm going to do is to give you a little presentation. I was told that I should speak for the entire morning, but I cut it back.
I think it's also great that we have sort of the lead group here from Valmont Glacier Destinations speaking about what those opportunities are. I think, one, it's a great opportunity for people to learn about a very special project, but also I think it illustrates ongoing interest by them, due diligence in a way, of being present in the community and showing what that project is and being willing to talk about it. And access is so important. Of course, the speaker that we're most lucky to have is Chief Rita Matthew. It's fabulous when she comes up, and I really appreciate her role in building connections within the community.
I want to acknowledge the land, the resources, the animals, everything that lives and grows here in the northern part of what our people call the Simcoe Territory. I was just sharing about traveling through here, and my mother fortunately is still alive, and when she travels up here, she remembers the traditional names of the places. So they were very ordinary. They were just places to remember. And I was thinking about that, about destinations, because I think that's part of what the idea is. We're looking at a corridor here that belongs to all of us. And the Sim people have, Sim Council have agreements with all of the town councils through the valley. Our territory traditionally was from Jasper down to around Heffley Creek in the south. So of course takes up a big part of the highway.
Well, by my count, it's been at least 15 months in the planning for this. It's been a tremendous amount of work, I'm sure, maybe even more than you imagined when you took this on. Talk about the planning process and how it's gone for you, and how, you must be relieved that it's gone so far so well, and that people seem to be enjoying.
Absolutely. It was a tremendous amount of work, more, like you said, than we had expected. But you know what? We managed. We pulled it off. The association didn't provide as much as we thought they would be. We actually lined up a lot more. So in the end, I think, we did a great job. I have to commend staff immensely, Silvio and Jennifer. They worked so very hard. I've heard a number of delegates that have definitely said that they want to come back and actually spend more time here. They were really impressed with our community. They, like you said we really showcased the community and surrounding area. And some of them had just passed through before because they see this nice little town with some gas stations, and they said, had never really come in. So that's why we're really trying to raise that awareness, and there was a lot of feedback I received as well that people really enjoyed it here and do want to come back, bring their families for vacations.
You are the guest speaker tonight at the awards dinner for the AGM. What will you be speaking about tonight?
Well, I'm going to, first of all, talk a little bit about the importance of working together. I think that's what this organization does very well. A little bit of an update on British Columbia's tourism numbers, and we had a great year last year provincially. One of the key strengths of our sector, the tourism sector, and as one of the ministers responsible for tourism in our government, the whole issue of touring is just a fantastic concept. Tourists like to tour, and whether it's by bike or by RV, we saw touring in our province, for example, go up by 5% last year. So, talking a little bit about the statistics, thanking them for choosing Valmont, of course, but really celebrating what it's like to work together and committing to be open to their discussion, their policy items. Bit of a highlight in terms of some highway improvements that we're going to see this summer along Highway 16. Highway 5 is obviously going to see some changes as well. So just a chance to update them, say thank you, and congratulate them for the great work they do.
I think I'd also just really like to thank everyone in the community for welcoming the delegates, being friendly and opening up, helping people. I know I've heard some responses that they couldn't believe how friendly and cheerful anyone that they've seen. Everyone says hi, waves, asks them if they need help with anything. So I'm guessing these were spouses and partners that joined them that were wandering around town. And also a huge thank you to all our speakers and presenters. They did some fabulous things, and for our partners programs we had a couple tour guides, and feedback I've heard so far after the morning's tour was that was one of the best partner programs they've ever been on. So good job to Art Carson on that one, and I'm sure Bruce is going to be putting them through a really great tour this afternoon on the marsh. So.
And I want to wish you the best of luck in the iHeart Cable contest and encourage people to get out and vote. I've certainly been doing that every day, so I hope, I want to thank you for the great work that your station does.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.